talk this morning about something.
Washington to talk about. Let's talk. Today we're going to think. Let's take a look.
The freedom that we spoke of earlier. It's the freedom. It's the ambition. It's the desire, the wherewithal, the passions that people have that gave us the great entrepreneurial advances, the great inventions, the greatest food production, the human lifestyle advances in this country. Why shouldn't that be rewarded? Why is that now the focus of punishment? Why is that now the focus of blame? Why doesn't Mayor Bloomberg the other day, ladies and gentlemen, resisting his governor's call for an increased tax on the rich in New York, had some astounding numbers. 8 million people live in New York. 40,000 of those 8 million pay roughly 60 to 70% of New York's operating budget. He was afraid that if he raised taxes on those people, some of them might leave. Mayor, one already has, by the way. But stop and think of this, though. Stop and think of this. 40,000 people out of 8 million. He's right. If 10,000 of them leave, or 5,000, they've got a huge problem. Because New York has its own welfare state inside the one the federal government's created. They've got a dependency class that has grown up and been educated. Their entitlement is to be fed and taken care of by these evil, mean people who have more than they do. If New York City, New York State, or Washington, D.C. were a business, these 40,000 people would be taken on golf tournament trips to Los Angeles, and they would be wined and dined, and they would be thanked, and they would be encouraged to keep it up. They wouldn't be told they're the problem. They wouldn't be told, except there's, you know, I pride my accuracy rating. There is one other business where the customer is always wrong, and that's the media. Sorry, but well, it's true, it's true. Well, have you ever called them to complain about whatever they do? They say, yes, sir, 3 bags full. They hang up and say, you're too stupid to know how they're doing what they're doing. You can't get it. You are not sophisticated enough. So that's another business where the customer is always wrong. But seriously, the people who have achieved great things, most of it is not inherited. Most wealth in this country is the result of entrepreneurial, just plain old hard work. There's no reason to punish it. There's no reason to raise taxes on these people. Barack Obama, the Democrat Party, have one responsibility, and that's to respect the oath they gave to protect, defend, and follow the U.S. Constitution. They don't have the right to take money that's not theirs, and none of it is, from the back pockets of producers and give it to groups like Acorn, which are going to advance the Democrat Party. If anybody but government were doing this, it would be a crime, and many of us think it's bordering on that as it exists now. President Obama is so busy trying to foment and create anger in a created atmosphere of crisis. He is so busy fueling the emotions of class envy that he's forgotten it's not his money he's spending. He seems to have, in fact, the money he's spending is not ours. He is spending wealth that has yet to be created. And that is not sustainable. It will not work. This has been tried around the world, and every time it's been tried, it's a failed disaster. What's the longest war in American history? Somebody saying the war on poverty? Smart group. Yep, war on poverty. War on poverty essentially started in the 30s as part of the New Deal, but it really ramped up in the 60s with Lyndon Baines Johnson, part of the Great Society, War on Poverty. We have transferred something like 10 trillion, maybe close to 11 trillion, from producers and earners to non-producers and earners since 1965. And yet, as I listen to the Democrat Party campaign, why, America's still a soup kitchen. The poor are still poor, and they have no hope. And they're poor for what reason? Well, they're poor because of us, because we don't care, because we've gotten rich by taking from them. That's what kids in school are taught today. That's what others are said in the media. You know why they're poor? You know why they remain poor? Because their lives have been destroyed by the never-ending government aid that's designed to help them, but it destroys ambition. It destroys the education they might get to learn to be self-fulfilling. And it breaks our heart. It breaks our heart. It is... We lose track of numbers with all of the money, that's been transferred, redistributed, with all the charitable giving in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, there ought not be any poverty except among those who genuinely are ill-equipped. But most of the people in poverty in this country are equipped for far much more. They've just been beaten down. They've been told, don't worry, we'll take care of you. There's nothing out there for you anyway. You're going to be discriminated against. And it breaks our heart to see this. We can't have a great country and a growing economy with more and more people being told they have a right because of some injustice that's been done to them or some discrimination, that they have a right to the earnings of others. And it's gotten so out of hand now that what worries me is that this administration, the Barack Obama administration, is actively seeking to expand the welfare state in this country because he wants to control it. George Will once asked Dr. Friedrich von Hayek, tremendous classical liberal economist, great man. George Will, in 1975, Dr. von Hayek, why is it that intellectuals, supposed smartest people in the room, why is it that intellectuals can look right out their windows, look at their own homes, their cars, look at their universities, and not see the bounties and the growth and the greatness of capitalism? And von Hayek said, I've troubled over this for years, and I've finally concluded that for intellectuals, pseudo-intellectuals, and all liberals, it's about control. It's not about raising revenue. You think Obama has any intention of paying for all of this spending? Folks, if he had any intention of paying for it, he wouldn't do 90% of it because we don't have the money. They don't care about paying for it. All that's just words. All that's just rhetoric, paying for it because he knows you have to worry about paying for it. He knows we all have to be concerned about, except, wrong again, except the wards of Barney Frank and Chris Dodd who were given homes that everybody knew they could never pay for. And now Barney Frank and Chris Dodd, the architects along with Bill Clinton of the policy that gave us the whole subprime mortgage crisis, get to sit around and act as innocent spectators to investigate what went on when they largely had the biggest role in causing it.